It's championship week. Welcome back, Madman in the morning. Got the mayor on the end,
I feel like a champion today.
just off of a late game last night, I guess.
Yeah, I'm glad we're here at the coffee house,
That's right.
getting me ready for a day.
There you go. Candy is here.
Hello.
The
Her cup up.
Madman, and then of course Brett, the Hitman, is
Hey,
here.
there we go.
Back from a trip trying to help Tennessee find coaches and wins. And
On the bright side is we don't have to fire off the coordinator. He left to go take the head coaching job at Western Kentucky.
Who wanted him though? Why did they want him?
Well,
I don't
he
understand.
used to be a coordinator there for a couple of years,
So
and
they're
they
giving him-
really like him apparently. But that's
He might
fine.
like his personality.
he's like, I'm out of here. I'm done.
I say get rid of him.
Yeah, I do too. So hopefully, I mean, there's a couple big names.
Fun
floating
fact,
around.
Brett, Western Kentucky and UTEP are on the same street.
I think they're firing some NFL coaches at the end of the season. Maybe they can pick one of those
Well,
guys up.
I've heard the name Hugh Freeze a lot, so that would be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not going into that dumpster fire.
Oh come
There's
on,
nothing-
UT. That
that
is
is
a
not a
big.
dumpster fire.
Peyton Manning played there for goodness' sake.
I
That
don't know
was
if
a
you- I don't know
thousand
if you
years
freeze
ago.
it.
That was
I don't know
not-
if he can have the heart to put on orange.
Hey, I've been in the
Hey,
Peyton Manning
Heath
room.
Schuler greater than
Have
Peyton
you been in
Manning.
the Peyton Manning room?
No, I'm not.
I have been in the Peyton
That's
Manning
awesome.
room. I was so, and I've been in the locker room. I have been in the guys' locker room. I have, and I'm
That's
not
awesome.
telling anything else. But it was fun
You've been-
to see. No, I'm talking about to see all the old players
Oh, yeah,
from
so
the
that's pretty
Cowboys.
awesome.
I didn't know where you were going with this.
I was like,
It's gonna easily went down the wrong road.
No,
that could have made a left.
I'm talking.
on
This was
wrong
without
street.
everyone was dressed. Okay,
There
but
you
I
go.
will tell a funny story. This is cool. Kamara.
We try to keep it PG,
We've all had
but
plenty of coffee, as
sometimes
you
We
can
have,
tell.
There's
but,
kids
but
watching.
speaking of
I
this,
don't know what's in her
Kamara,
cup.
Kamara that played for UT, that plays for New Orleans, that's doing so awesome. He happened to be in the locker room when I was there. He was a nobody then, okay? And I had my picture taken with him.
Fantastic.
I was so excited.
He's a good
Yes,
football player.
He is
He's a
great.
really
He's going to watch this and
Great.
like, hey, I was a somebody then.
Yeah. You know what he told me? He said, "You're short like my mama." That's what he told me.
That's awesome. What a week. Sure, Thanksgiving. That was a brutal, I know for me.
We had to back the camera up a little bit because I got fatter.
Yeah.
Oh, I did too.
I think we all
I
did.
think we all did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Brutal week, pick-wise. However,
We're going to regroup.
my D-O-double-G of the week, South Carolina getting 26 and a half against Clemson.
The one time
That's hard to
Clemson let me
believe, but
down.
they did.
They let me
Jake
down.
Bentley threw for 550 yards.
Any other night, that would have been superb to, you get to win.
Well, I got to watching the game, and actually, now that I look at this whole thing, and you do start looking at stuff, and you're wanting teams to lose, because I like UCF, and I hate that Milton went down
Oh,
with that.
man,
It's so terrible.
sad. Yes. It's a
but-
bad deal. I hope he
It
can
is,
recover.
yeah, and I think they got blood flow back yesterday, getting ready to do surgery on the leg, but it, you hate that for that kid, especially where they're playing. But watching Clemson play, you start seeing some of these things getting closer to these playoffs. Clemson's defense is not that good.
No.
South Carolina threw the ball anytime they wanted to, and I'll tell you something else about Clemson. South Carolina started the game with 8 underclassmen, had 8 starters out,
Yeah.
lost the other 3 starters during the game, so they had nothing but freshmen and sophomore playing,
Yeah.
and kept the game within 21. So that, look at it from two sides. Yeah, South Carolina got beat by 21, but did they beat a really good team?
Yeah.
Did Clemson really beat?
You got to
good
feel
team?
good about,
South
the
Carolina,
future.
right?
Oh, of South Carolina, absolutely, yeah.
But
And Jake Bentley's
Clemson-
got another year,
Yeah.
so he'll be back next year. So
There
Yeah.
goes my hopes for Clemson and Alabama.
I'm just waiting
Well-
on Jake Bentley to graduate.
I think-
As a Tennessee fan, I am just waiting on him to graduate. He lights it up.
Tennessee fans are waiting on a lot of people to graduate, aren't they?
yeah.
Listen to that.
Just
Now,
Bentley,
do you
really.
all want us
Fresh
to get
off
into
of
Virginia
Thanksgiving,
Tech
South
games?
Carolina-
We were nice last week,
quarterback.
right?
Okay.
Entire Alabama
What
staff.
about this? About Virginia Tech potentially buying a spot? Come on.
What are you talking
They
about?
talked in.
Because we're paying Marshall.
You're going to pay him so you can get in a bowl game and beat him. I'm pulling for Marshall.
You pay opponents all the time.
Oh, come
This happens all the
on.
time.
Come on.
The
Give me
game
a
got
break.
canceled.
What do
They're
you think about
remaking
that,
the game.
Hitman?
Okay, this is
Hitman, come on.
this is my opinion on it. You have your bowl streak up for, you can lose it.
Here we go.
This is what's going to happen. You just pay Marshall to come to Blacksburg.
I did
kick
pick
your-
that game. I
So
think
you
we
can
did.
get a bowl game.
Well,
Look,
it's
come on.
not like they're playing Raven Crimson Tide. Marshall's not bad.
They-
That's it, they're not bad.
Marshall
Not
could,
bad.
Marshall could
Listen
go,
to that.
in fact, go into Blacksburg and
That's
win,
it.
and no
I
one
hope
would be
they do.
They're
surprised.
I
not
hope
bad.
they do.
You pick Marshall.
I would have put Akron
Blacksburg
on the schedule.
to kick your butt. So you're not going to get a bowl game.
They could have invited older men
That would be
back.
the most, let's not go there.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, you could
That
call.
would be the most tech thing
I think
You
possible.
You're
could
just
call
talking about
ODU.
Tennessee.
I think you could call ODU like, hey man, we got another game we gotta play. Can we play it all again? And
I
please,
think we
don't
just
beat us.
wash
this
it.
So
time.
much for Thanksgiving.
Sorry,
It's
guys.
behind us. Let's grab each other by the throat.
There you
I
go.
know. Well, we were so full of love last week.
Boy,
We're
that's
making
Hey,
Jason.
someone come down there to your level.
Cowboys
Carrie.
won. Cowboys won.
Yes, they did.
You can't pick on me for that. And Pittsburgh
You,
won.
you beat Colt McCoy.
Yes.
Colt McCoy is a good guy. He's a tech.
He might be a good
Okay.
guy, not a good quarterback. Do we
He
have?
used to be when he
Do
played
we
for
have the
Texas.
Virginia Tech
Okay.
Marshall game on our pick'em?
No.
Oh come
Oh,
on!
shoot.
No.
Come on! Can we add it?
We've got
about to
enough
go.
punishment.
I'll
going
buy
I'm
on.
about to go
Coffee.
get something harder than this.
Can we add it real quick?
Let me mix up. Yeah, okay. Hey, back to last week. She's right. The Steelers, of course, blow it.
Yes, they did.
You know, and
Yes, they did.
had the game won 4-5.
But it was a good game.
It was
It
good.
was a great game.
It was.
No
Anyone
moral
could have
victories,
won.
though.
Doubt-
I know. I
the
know.
Bears.
A loss is a loss and a tie's a tie too.
Yes,
Right?
correct.
So now this week,
And a
we're-
makeup game is not a buy-in or bowl.
That's exactly right.
A makeup game is a buy-in. You weren't even going to play this game if you didn't beat who did they play last
UVA.
week? UVA.
UVA, that's right.
What's
that's
that, 15
right.
years
It
in a
was
row?
contingent on that.
Yeah.
That
So
was-
if you
They wasn't
lost to
gonna get the
UVA,
money.
you wouldn't even going to play the game.
They were not going to get
Maybe
the money.
Tech and Tennessee will meet in the bowl. No, they won't meet in the bowl. Because Tennessee's not bowl eligible.
Well,
Our schedule's a lot
Virginia Tech
harder.
may not be.
The schedule's a lot harder. You played
We're
ESU. And Charlotte.
You played ODU and got your butt beat.
Ooh. Like,
We
it's
are
getting
fresh
hot
off,
here.
see you
fresh
out.
off Thanksgiving.
Getting hot, getting hot.
It is awesome, dude.
I
Awesome.
know where you
love
live.
it. That's
Where
right.
you live.
If one of these guys come up missing next week's show, we'll know what happened. Okay.
I'll tell your
I hope
dad.
they're not mean to girls.
The only girl I'm mean to is Brett.
So Thanksgiving. So Chase Daniels, the Bears, beat Detroit. Not
Yes.
that we'll change the subject. Get off Tennessee and Virginia Tech.
But you know,
for a
I'm
minute.
surprised. I mean, of course, their defense is pretty awesome, you know, Khalil Mack, but without their Trubisky in, I was shocked.
Well, this Chase Daniel,
He's a veteran.
he come out of Missouri. He come out of that style offense, so he does fit that mold. Nagy's a good play caller. He does a good job. Trubisky. So I think Chase Daniels, it's more that system fit in than it was him coming in and being a good enough quarterback
Must
to
have
play.
been.
But Chicago, they look good, guys. Nobody talking about Chicago, and these guys very easily could win that North.
That's because everyone's
Yeah.
talking about New Orleans and
They're
the
all
Rams
talking about
and the
New
NFC.
Orleans. That's right.
Yeah, the NFC North is pretty wide open. Green Bay, you know, Rodgers is doing Rodgers things, but they
Yes,
seem to
sir.
be off the path and everywhere else. And him and his coach, I don't know what's
I
going on
expect
there.
a,
But
He's a horrible coach.
Yeah.
Some-
well, I expect a coaching change
And,
at the end.
and
of the
he
year.
don't like him. So I'd say at the end of this year he's gone.
yeah, and
Someone's gonna get the
Minnesota's
raise.
up and down.
Yes.
So any one of those four teams out of that division could win that.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I like Chicago's chances. Dallas wins, New Orleans, they beat
Amari
Atlanta,
Cooper
so
has helped out with the Cowboys. Sorry.
he's helped them for
Sorry
sure.
about the Cowboys.
You know, I had them playing this, but they beat Atlanta. But New Orleans, man, they're on fire.
Oh man! And Cowboys have them.
We kind of hope
have
they
them
cool off
actually-
for the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what? Cowboys, they can't beat New Orleans. I mean, I love my Cowboys, but I just don't see them beating Drew Brees
Be interesting.
and Kamara.
And even
We'll see.
The Cleveland Browns win again, and Buffalo won. Buffalo beat Jacksonville in a huge fight. Did you see
Yes,
it?
yes.
Awesome.
That's what should happen when those two teams play. They shouldn't even play football. They
Right,
should
just take
fight.
the football, put it in the locker room,
Just fight.
go out and just throw as many
Yeah.
That's
punches
kind of
as
like
you
Pittsburgh and
People get their
Cincinnati.
money's worth.
That's exactly right.
definitely Pittsburgh.
That's
That's
exactly
in the
right.
stands, though.
I like
Yeah.
how Josh Allen kind of talked a little smack to Jalen Ramsey. I liked it.
Well, that, and then, of course, Hugh Jackson goes to Cincinnati. Cleveland goes on the road to Cincinnati, beats Cincinnati. convincingly 35-20, and of course Mayfield snubs
Yes.
Hugh Jackson at the end of the
Well,
game.
And the
which I
pig.
thought was
Who
pretty
had the
cool.
pick? I can't quite remember.
Oh, yeah,
had the pick and went over and handed
it to him.
It was beautiful.
I love it.
I think,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was perfect. Picks the ball and was, here you go. This
Hands
is
it to Hugh
yours.
Jackson. So that's interesting week in pro and guys in college too. I mean, man, what a week! Ohio State blows out Michigan.
Our Washington
Oh
State
man,
Cougars.
I was so
I
disappointed in
hated
that
that.
one.
Yeah, and like Mayor said, Washington State.
That was
Michael,
It's hard to pull for either team in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, but the way Michigan pulled out on Tech there at the beginning of the year, a couple of games that was scheduled, they just kind of regrouped on that and decided not to play them. I was kind of pulling for Ohio State. So
Wow.
the Buckeyes win and our Cougars lose. So
I hate that for Mike Leach.
yeah, we
Such a good
were.
guy.
I thought they were going to make it in the four. They could have.
Yeah.
Because
They could've
you know
moved up.
they could easily beat Utah. I think the
I
winner
think-
of that game.
I think so, yeah.
The winner of the Apple Cup was going to win the Pac-12 or 15 or 30, whatever they call
Right.
that now.
Yeah.
So, did any of those teams have to buy a game for a bowl?
No, I'll answer that. No.
Okay, just
and,
wanted to-
and the knife goes deeper and deeper.
I'm gonna buy you a match. You know where UTEP is.
Aren't you glad I'm protecting you in this
Hey,
line of
So I don't
fire
have to
here?
buy a game for a bowl.
Speaking of good-hearted, off of football for a
Man.
minute, let's not forget about Madman turned Santa
That's
for
right.
these guys. Madman turned Santa. Guys, if you know a family that got kids and you want them to have a Merry Christmas, please make sure.
Don't buy them any Tennessee gear.
That's right. Don't do
Buy 'em
that.
all
Unless it's
Tennessee
on the
gear they
list,
can
unless
handle.
it's on the list, right?
Right.
Bad man.
Even if it's not on the list, buy them all the Tennessee gear they can handle.
So make sure we get those letters sent in.
Yes.
We're getting close to a deadline. Also donations, guys, it don't even matter. $1, a couple dollars, $5, whatever. Any little bit helps buy the kid a Christmas gift. So send those in to Madman in the Morning, P.O. Box 625, Cedar Bluff, Virginia 24609. Guys, send those letters in. It means a lot to these kids. There's a lot of people, a lot of families that need something come this time of year. And we are all fortunate enough
Yep.
to be available to maybe take care of some of these kids for Christmas.
Right.
So we're thankful for what we've
That's
got.
what it's about. You know, that's really what this should be about,
The
is
season of giving,
giving.
not what you're doing.
I'm gonna give Brett
We're
another
giving a
sandwich.
lot of love.
Love you, Mayor. Maybe.
Did
Maybe
you?
not.
How about?
Yeah.
Also, don't forget the guys at Coalfield Sports. Playoff time. I know locally Richlands
Yeah.
is not in it, but guys, Graham's still in it.
Bluefield.
A couple local teams, Bluefield.
Yeah.
Those guys at Coalfield Sports, it's all high school all the time. That's what they do. So make sure you check those guys out, Eugene and Brady. Mayor does a little work for those guys as well, so make
Ryan,
sure you check.
Trey, all those guys, Havoc, doing a great job. They kind of winding down. You know, we've only got 3 teams in our coverage area between Bluefield, Graham, and Chilhowie. It's still left. So,
But now they're trying to expand that now. I guess going into the next
Yeah.
year, they're wanting to add some more.
yeah, we're definitely been in talks about doing a little more, and I think for other sports we'll probably be doing some stuff. So it's hard because Eugene works full time, Brett works, or Brady works. He's got his hand in about 3 different things. Ryan works full time, so keeping that going with everybody's schedule is tough. But they're all talented when they do have time to do things. They put out great content. So definitely go over there, check that out. CoalfieldSports.com.
Yeah, these guys are awesome. I've been on that page several times, and it's very informative. So go over there and like their page. And by the way, like the Madman, make sure you get over to our Facebook page as well. Like our Facebook page, follow us. You never know
And
what
we
you might
love
see.
you guys. We may not like each other, but we love
We
you.
might be at each other's throats.
We just like to have fun with it some days.
We do.
That's
We
right.
really love each other.
Yeah.
We do.
I would say love.
Debatable.
Well, we don't. We just disagree on some things. Let's put it that way.
Right.
Everything.
So who watched LSU Texas A&M?
That was fun.
I
Did you see that game?
Yeah,
I
I
watched
think we got
highlights.
everybody
I
who
watched
watched it
highlights.
got hazard duty pay. That was
Oh,
wild.
dude, that was one of the funnest games I've watched in a long time.
I
And you know what was great about it? You know, they always talk about teams not having defense and not playing defense, and these offenses are going crazy. These two teams calling timeouts, getting their defense right, getting their offense right, the play calling in this overtime
Yeah.
period, some of the best play calling, and I'm gonna say defense and offense because this kid for Texas A&M, dude, he can ball out.
Yeah.
What he made some catches that he should have never made.
No, he
He
went.
tipped the ball while he was getting dragged to the ground. Tipped
Wow.
the ball, and it fell to him, and he caught it.
Looked like a cat.
They were holding both arms. Yeah. Oh yeah. He made some awesome catches. The quarterback for LSU, the running backs, and you could tell late in that game, these kids were exhausted. They put everything on the field, and for it to be 74-72, man, what a game it was. It was awesome to watch.
Do you know what was the most? What I thought about, like I think it was about fifth or sixth overtime. What if LSU would open the playbook like this against Alabama?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, I'm not saying they would have beat Alabama,
Right.
but they would have made that ball game a lot more interesting than 29-0.
You know, I think looking back on things, and you're right, Coach O. And I know you got to get quarterbacks acclimated to your offense. You got to open that playbook a little bit at a time. But when you get in a game like that, you're right. If they'd have said, "Here it is,"
Yeah.
you run it. Could have been a different ball game because LSU's got a good football team.
Yeah, they're
So
very
does
good,
Texas
and I
A&M.
thought that was the only team other than Georgia that can compete with.
Alabama.
Yeah, so
That's
But-
speaking of Georgia. Big game this week.
here we go. Yeah,
Oh, I'm watching this one, guys.
I'm a Georgia
For a
fan
while,
this week.
anyway.
Yeah, no kidding. Oh, yeah, I definitely will watch that game for sure. Big games on the schedule this week. Starting, we got a couple games tonight, but I'm sorry, we got a pro game tonight. We got two games tomorrow night.
Yes.
Right.
Friday
Right.
night, Northern Illinois Buffalo, MAC championship game as it's championship week.
Action.
Action up in Detroit, Buffalo, Northern Illinois, and I'm gonna let you start, Hitman.
Well-
See what you think.
I haven't really got to watch a lot of Buffalo this year. But from what I've read, some stats that I've looked at, I really like Buffalo this one.
And
Really
it's
like
at Buffalo.
Yeah. So
Well, it's at Detroit,
Well, true,
but that's close to Buffalo.
that's right. But isn't that considered home?
I think they are the home team.
Okay.
Yes.
So it'd be their advantage.
Yes.
But from,
I don't know where Buffalo is.
from a few things that I've read
It's
and
down
some
past
stats,
UTEP.
Is it down on the range?
That's exactly right.
At least
Sorry,
we
Hitman.
did.
What in the world are we drinking this morning?
Buffalo.
Show's got a little sideways.
I'm going with Buffalo.
Okay.
Buffalo's an animal. You know that?
Really?
See, on the
He
range.
wasn't real sure about that.
I don't know what's in your cup, but no more.
A whole lot more.
Well, I am. I'll tell you, and you're right, stat-wise, if you look at this game. But it goes back to last year, too. There's one piece of information that I found about Buffalo, which made it interesting for me. Illinois 7-3. They lost to Iowa. They lost to Akron. But inside the MAC, they took care of business. They've lost these games by very few points. They beat BYU. They lost to Utah late in the game with the lead. Utah wins the game. So they deserve to be there. But if you look at Buffalo, last year Buffalo got bowl eligible on the last game of the season and got snubbed for a bowl game.
Sounds
Wow.
really familiar.
This is their bowl game.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to a bowl game anyway because of their record, but this is their bowl game this year because they did get snubbed last year.
Yeah.
Believe me, they've not forgotten.
Oh, no. You know they're going to have it.
I'm telling you, Northern Illinois, watch out. Buffalo is coming, both guns blazing. This game
A
is
herd of Buffalo.
right, a whole herd of them. I don't think the game's close. I
In
think
Detroit.
Buffalo blows them out, and it's at Detroit, Motor City.
Well, even though I don't know much about where Buffalo is, I'm going with Buffalo.
There
I
you
think 4.5 points they'll cover.
Hold up.
Hold up. Wait a minute.
But the MAC title game, I think, maybe 8 to 10 years in existence. Northern Illinois has been a staple in this game almost every year.
I think they've been 5 times in the last 7, 8 years.
So they've definitely competed for the MAC title more than anyone else in conference. Buffalo may have a little bit of chip on their shoulder, but I'm going with Northern Illinois to pull off
Didn't
their
they play
little
that
upset.
team Marshall when Marshall was in the MAC?
Probably a long time ago.
I
Yeah.
don't know why Marshall's on my brain, but anyway.
Well, just because Tech had a tail.
That was it, okay.
So, quick question. When Buffalo got eligible for a bowl last year, did they have to pay anybody to play that last game?
I
To do
don't
it?
think so.
Or was that just a regular season game?
Brett, during the Christmas break, I'm going to teach you the business of sports and how it works and how money is made in
Hey,
sports.
I'm just going out on this limb.
There was a game
here.
canceled.
You want
So they remade a game. It's not like, hey, let's buy a game.
No,
for
but
that.
they
That's
picked,
exactly what you done.
But they picked who they wanted to play, and they are paying them. So,
If you would have lost to UVA, this game wouldn't even be played.
that was a good game, but anyway. Okay.
Hey, and
So
we
you're
did beat-
going with
hey,
Northern
and they
Illinois
did
for the
beat
MAC.
UVA.
He's
And
And I
made
know
his
where Northern
decision.
Illinois is.
Next game.
Is it in Illinois?
Rematch of last year.
This y'all are
I mean, rematch of this year. They played earlier in the
Buffalo
season.
on his hat. Anyway,
Really?
what were the fans in there?
I didn't think they made those. Utah and Washington, and man, I hate this. I wish Washington State was in there, but
Yes.
Washington, Utah, a little bit of a rematch. I think they played early in the season. So,
Well, I picked Washington last week, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to go roll with them again this week. I like it. They are on the roll here. They knocked out Leach, and I'm feeling great talking about
They
it.
did.
So I'm going with Washington. And they did not have to buy a bowl.
what do you think, Mayor?
I think Brett's an idiot. I also think that the winner of last week's Washington State game is the de facto Pac 15-30 said before champion. So Washington's going to win this one outright, and they're. I don't think they're going to make it any hot close. I guess they're going to Rose Bowl.
Rose Bowl, yes.
Yeah.
We're playing for a Rose Bowl spot.
You know, I feel the same way. 3.5 points. I thought it would be more, actually, because, you know, they did beat Washington State, and I'm going with Washington.
I'm that lone wolf, I guess.
Oh my God.
And the only reason I like Chris Peterson, Washington has been up and down, up and down, up and down all year. Auburn game had a chance to win it, blew it late. They beat Washington State, but I think they really they knew Washington State just had that one loss. They got up for that game. You look back at Utah's record when they're a dog under Whittingham, this guy knows how to get his team ready to play ball. That's the only reason I'm taking Utah. I think the game's close. I don't think Utah can score that much. They got a backup quarterback and a backup running back in the game. But Jake Browning, who was supposed to be the Heisman front runner, is just not impressed this year.
No.
So I think it's close. 17-14 game, something like that. I like Utah. The Utes.
Spoiler.
That's a shocker.
The Utes.
I wonder if Jay Brown, I wonder with him having some competition with Jacob Eason, the kid that was a quarterback at Georgia a couple of years ago. I wonder if it just maybe the kind of put him off his game a little bit.
I mean, because
It's hard.
man, he had a heck of a season last year. Just seemed like
Yeah, and this late in the year, maybe a little banged up. You never know. 'Cause,
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times if it's not a serious injury, they just don't disclose it. So keep
playing
dealing
and
with
dealing
something.
with it. So,
Just give him a shot, right?
so
Brett's
next,
gone.
Brett had to go call and find out who's going to be
Hit
coaching
man.
for Tennessee.
Come back.
Had to go by his Atlas. I know how things
UAB
are.
and Middle Tennessee in a rematch from last week. They just played like a week ago.
So they should know each other a little bit.
They do, and this. I think this is for that.
Looking for you.
UAB,
I've got to go.
Middle Tennessee.
We have Bible.
So the hitman has had to take off. He's on his way to
Tell him
Tennessee.
we said hey.
He left the building.
Trying to find some coaches for Tennessee.
won't see him for a while then.
So UAB Middle Tennessee. Last week, Middle Tennessee beat them 27-3. I like UAB here. I think they're a better football team. I think UAB defensively they're better. Middle Tennessee caught them off guard. This game, it means a lot more to UAB. And remember something, they just brought football back in 2016 to UAB. Didn't even have a football team. Last year, went to a bowl game in 17.
Yeah.
And in the championship game this year, they've done a heck of a job at UAB.
They're all excited just to play.
Oh,
You know,
they're wanting to be in a bowl and they're wanting to be in this championship. They're going to want it more than Middle Tennessee.
I do not disagree with you one bit, but I think Middle Tennessee is just a little bit above UAB at this point. I think defensively, they're one of the better teams that's come out of that conference in a long time.
Yes, they are.
So I'm going to say this is going to be a low-scoring game. Middle Tennessee with a 2.5 point cushion. I think they hold off at UAB with that.
Well, I guess I'm the tiebreaker since Hitman's gone, but I will have to say Middle Tennessee. I feel like the same way, you know, defense, and they did win before, so.
Yep. Memphis and UCF. Man, I hate that for Milton.
Wow.
A great quarterback.
But they still pulled it out because it was to the end.
They
but
did win.
still,
They
yeah.
blew the game open late, and I tell you, it's a shame that they say, well, we can't put them in the playoff because their quarterback went
Yeah.
down. But we don't know how good they are without their quarterback.
That's
This
right.
other guy might step in and blow Memphis out.
Yeah.
He may be really eager and ready, you know.
It's disheartening for
It's
the
sad. I hate it.
Because you
I
look at
hate
the
it.
playoff committee and they say, well, we're going to take them out because of their quarterback. A couple of years ago, Ohio State's quarterback went down. Backup comes in. They didn't take them
I
out.
remember that.
They didn't take
I
them
remember
out.
that, but it was Ohio State.
But
you know, I don't agree a lot
like-
with their decisions.
Well, it's like if
on
you
false pretense, really.
if you lose early in the season, it shouldn't matter.
No.
Well, except for if you're in the SEC. If you lose late, it should matter. Well, except if you're in the SEC,
Yeah.
or Big Ten. And it's like they just keep finding a way. The only thing, of course, I'm looking for is, especially for UCF, I would love for them to win this game big. I'm taking them. I think 4.5. The number's low because Milton's hurt.
Yeah.
I think the same thing.
Guys, we got to remember something. They've won 25 games in a row. Their defense has done a little bit.
That's right. It's not just been the
They
quarterback.
got a running game.
There's
This
a lot of
quarterback-
teams with good quarterbacks, right?
Yeah.
So,
I think UCF wins this game, and I think they come in more than anyone else in the championship week. I think UCF comes in with a bigger chip on their shoulder this week than they've ever had, and said, we're going to make a statement. And Heupel says, look, blow them out.
Yep.
We're going to show the committee we can get this done without Milton. We are the better football team.
yeah, and you know, they're going to have a chip on their shoulders big time, and they're going to play with a lot of heart. That is going to be a thing, and I think they're going to win it, and I think it's going to be a lot more than 4.5 that they win last.
I do too.
Central Florida, right near Disney.
That's exactly right.
This is the type of thing Disney movies are made of. All corny like, oh, our quarterback went down. We got to rally the troops. UCF does that, and they get the conference title, and hopefully things shake out where they'll get a spot, at least an opportunity to compete.
Yeah.
Which years ago we had the BCS, and that was awful. We
I
had
hated
two
it.
teams.
Horrible.
Now we have 4. Then
We need 8.
Yeah, we need at least 8.
Yeah.
I think so. And
Get every conference champion and maybe a wild card or two, but it took 100 years to get the BCS, so
And hey,
it may
guys,
take another 100 years to get another 14
It's just like with the NFL, a lot of it has to do with matchups, right?
Yeah.
So just because Alabama's blown away the teams that they played doesn't mean that they could blow away someone like UCF.
Yeah, I mean, since they expanded the wild card in the NFL, we've seen multiple wild card teams compete for a
And-
Super Bowl.
and
And take it all the way into the
Yeah.
AFC
Yeah,
Championship or NFC
exactly.
Championship game. Absolutely. I mean, a couple years ago, Seattle gets in with a losing record, blows out the first 2 people they played
Yeah.
with Marshawn Lynch.
And I think the Giants, the year they went, I don't think they actually won the division.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
That's right.
And
So
they
I
won
mean,
Super
that was,
Bowl.
and they beat who? New England, maybe.
New England. Yep.
Yeah.
On that catch.
I remember that.
Texas and Oklahoma. Big
Ooh, that's gonna be a good
rematch.
one.
3-point
That's gonna be
game
a good
earlier, 48-45, early in the season. the only loss Oklahoma's got. Maybe got a little revenge on their mind this time. What do you think, Bear?
Oklahoma coming off a big win against West Virginia. I think they want Texas again, but I don't think at the end of the night they're going to want Texas again. I think Texas beats them for the second time this year.
Oh.
Wins the conference championship. I think it's going to be big.
You know, as much as I wanted to put my circle around Texas, you know, I'm a Texas girl, but I just feel like Oklahoma's going to win it this time. So I had to go with my mind instead of my heart. And I'm going to think that Oklahoma's going to beat them this round. So, but you know, it is 8.5 points. I was a little surprised about the spread. But I know you saying they're going to beat them or the spread. You think they're just going to beat them outright?
I think they'll cover the spread. They could possibly beat them. I mean, it's in Dallas, correct?
Yeah.
So that's
Actually, it's in Arlington.
Yeah.
Well,
The
that's
big
pretty much
stadium,
home field
Cowboy Stadium.
advantage.
That's right.
Yes.
So,
Not far from Austin.
and I know, like I said, I'd love to pick Texas, but I just feel like Oklahoma maybe wants it worse than Texas. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma.
Well, I agree with Mayor, and here's why. Oklahoma has given up 47 points per game in their last 5 ball games.
Yes. They haven't
There was
stopped
no
anyone.
defense, I will
Their
say, in the
defense
West
is
Virginia
horrible.
Oklahoma game. Neither
Now,
team.
the one thing you can say about Texas is they can score. They've got a quarterback. Now, this quarterback's a little iffy. He may play, may not. He's got an injury. If the backup plays, Oklahoma wins the game. No questions. I think they can blow them out. If this quarterback plays, Tom Herman as an underdog is big. Texas, knowing they can knock Oklahoma off, big rivalry, that's big. Knowing that Oklahoma's given up 47 points a game. They've given up 47 points a game for the last 5 opponents, and if you look at the combined record of the opponents they've played, 13-26.
And most of the wins are from West Virginia, who they played last week.
That's right. So
That was a shootout. Yeah.
So I think Texas wins the game outright.
Well, you know, I hope these guys are winning. I really do. But I just don't know that Texas defense can cool down the offense for
Well,
Oklahoma. That's my.
I agree. I do agree with you on that. I think Oklahoma's still going to score in the 30s, maybe low 40s, but they've been scoring in the 50s.
Oh, yeah.
So what I think happens in this game is it does go out 40, 41, 38, something like that, and I think Oklahoma scores a bunch of points.
It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you might as well take the over and go to bed and
Yeah.
don't even watch it because it's going to go over.
DVR it.
Over that 77. But I like Texas. I think Texas keeps it close enough to late where they got a chance to win the ball game.
Should be fun.
Yep, it's going to be a fun game to watch. App State, of course, these guys are back in it about every year.
Yes.
Playing Lafayette this week. They're a big favorite. But man, Satterfield, this guy's, he's a heck of a coach.
It's 17 and a half. That's a lot of points.
What do you think?
Well, because of the 17 and a half, I'm going to go with Lafayette.
I'm kind of with you on that. 17 and a half in the conference championship game is a little big, even though App State's playing at home.
They
Yeah,
are
they're
home,
great.
yes.
But let me tell you, Boone is not far from here. If I wasn't working Saturday, that's where I would be.
This would be a fun one to go watch.
This would be, Boone is a tremendous football town. As a Kid Brewer Stadium is awesome to watch a game. If you don't have anything to do Saturday, go down and scalp the ticket.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah,
Boone's beautiful.
it's a fun environment, and Boone is like Richlands, but with a college in it. It's just right there in
College
the mountain.
town.
Yep.
Right there in the mountains. So App State is going to win this, but I think Lafayette covers the spread on the road. And since App State has jumped up to the Division I single A level, they have tore things up, and they're going to go back to another ball game and another big year down in Boone.
Yeah, and they stubbed their toe against Georgia Southern. I think Georgia Southern, Georgia State. They lost to Penn State. Should have won that game.
Yeah.
I think App State is just a much better team than Lafayette. Lafayette kind of squeaked in there late to get in that championship game. I like App State to blow them out. I think it's a 4-touchdown ball
Wow,
game.
really?
I think they just got more talent. This quarterback, and this Sutton kid, that receiver they got,
Yeah.
dude, he is a baller.
Yeah, I think
The
Appalachian
quarterback-
State will win, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
They,
4
I
touchdowns. Huh?
think they'll blow them out. Yeah, I do. Big one, Georgia, Alabama.
Oh, here we go. This is the one I want to really watch. I think I want to watch it anyway.
Well, who do you like?
Well, because I like Georgia, of course. Do you have to ask?
14 and
I
a
do
half.
not like Alabama. But you know what? 14 and a half. Okay, because, Georgia, what are they ranked? Second? Third. With the
Georgia.
college rankings just came out. It was Alabama,
Georgia's fifth.
Clemson. Oh, I'm sorry. That's
Yeah,
right.
they're right outside the
Clemson.
top.
Right outside the top.
That's right. Oh, that's
Notre
right.
Dame,
That's
yep.
right. What am I thinking?
But if they get this
Well,
win.
anyway, I still think that's what I'm hoping for. I think Georgia can beat Alabama, and I think that Georgia could actually be in the championship. So that's
Yeah,
what I'm hoping for.
I do too.
Yeah.
I've already moved them up, guys. Okay, I'm not going with the committee.
14 and a half in conference championship game in Atlanta. Georgia covers.
Woo!
I don't know if they can pull it out.
One better. I think they win the game outright.
Me too.
And I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
From good quarterback. If you look at Alabama throughout the season, they've played a couple really good teams. They've played a bad schedule.
Yeah.
I mean, they really have. They played an LSU team that was really trying to find their
They
identity.
played a Tennessee team that
Yeah, easy.
Hitman, come
Yeah,
on.
they played a running team when they played the Citadel. The Citadel kept the game close all the way through the third quarter. Auburn kept it close through the third quarter. Auburn's a one-sided good team. They got a pretty good defense, not a really good offense. LSU, good defense, not a really good offense. Citadel, good offense, no defense.
yeah.
Georgia's got a good defense and a good
Yes.
offense.
Right.
I think they can score, and I think they run the ball on Alabama, which no one else has been able to do this year. Look for this game to be really close in the end, and Georgia have an opportunity to win the game
I
outright.
hope so. That's what I'm hoping for.
We're hoping for the committee to have to deal with chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
and that's
serious.
that's exactly what it'll be because they're not going to. Alabama's going to be there
Oh yeah.
Yes.
They're going to be
unless
somewhere.
Georgia beats them like 60-0. Alabama's going to be there. So you're going to Georgia wins. You're going to have Georgia and Alabama, Clemson
Notre Dame.
and Notre Dame.
Notre Dame.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's going to throw out whoever wins. Ohio State if they do win the Big Ten.
They were talking about Ohio State should have been in the top, and I'm like, no, they shouldn't. I mean, they
Ohio
should
State
not
doesn't
be.
impress me.
No.
They don't impress me. They did beat Michigan. I'll
Michigan,
give them that.
Michigan was a fraud
but,
all year.
But that's not saying much, right?
Right.
So I mean,
And they
why
get-
were
and
they
they-
even talking about putting them in the top four?
A 6-6 Purdue team hung 49 on them.
Yes.
So.
But anyway,
This is another big one. These two teams have played 4 times in the last 370 days.
really, I didn't realize that.
They know
This
each
is
other.
last
That
year.
doesn't happen
Yes,
that
last
often.
year. That's true.
So they
Yeah.
played twice last year, twice this year. Fresno State, Boise State. They know each other. This guy, Jeff Tedford in Fresno, 20 wins, 6 losses. Pretty good winning percentage. Boise State at home, playing on the blue rug. So Fresno getting 2.5. And I'll just go ahead and start. I think Fresno, they know him well enough to keep it close. I think they win the game late.
Okay.
Fresno State, yes. Doesn't happen that often on the blue carpet.
I was gonna say they keep this blue carpet down for those guys.
Exactly
That's
right.
Maybe.
I think the blue carpet plays its magic one more time. Boise State, it's going to be cold. It's always cold.
Oh, yeah,
in
it's
Boise.
going to be cold for sure.
And Boise plays very well in cold weather.
And I know where Boise is. Idaho.
Way,
Way up there.
way up there.
Way up there.
Way past Bluefield.
But you know what? There's something about that blue carpet that mesmerizes, everyone. So I'm going Boise again. I'm going Boise.
I think everyone should have blue carpet.
I'm that lone wolf.
Forget the red carpet. Go for it.
This is another good one coming up right here. I was thinking about my dogs. Okay, we're good. I got some dogs for you today.
We figured you'd let
Couple
those
really
dogs
good
out
dogs
here
of
in
the
a
week
little
this week. Next, we got Pitt, Clemson. Clemson is a 28.5 point favorite.
Really?
28.5.
I mean, I know, but really?
I know. That's what I see. Narduzzi knows this Clemson
Yeah.
offense pretty well.
You
So,
think?
what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, the fact he knows this offense very well. Conference championship game in Charlotte, a little bit of a neutral location, even though it's kind of close to Clemson. I think Dabo does due diligence to save his players. He's going to rest and keep a couple of guys fresh. Pitt covers.
Pitt covers.
And Pitt runs the ball really well. So
They run
can
very well.
They can waste a lot of time and it kind of closes the gap on that 20.5 really quick.
Yes.
Well, see, this is my question. I feel the same way. I think Clemson's definitely going to win the game, but I think it's going to be a lot closer than 28.5 points. So it makes me wonder, did these guys do something we don't know again? 28.5 points? I mean, when I seen that, I was like, I can't believe.
Well, they weren't right last week, were they?
No,
That's
and this
right.
is way, and I think it's way
Wow.
too high. I agree. I think it's way too high. Clemson 28.5. Pitt beat them 2 years ago.
Yes.
On a field goal
Yeah.
late. And
Clemson.
same coach.
They surprise people.
Yeah,
They do. Pitt plays a very, very high level of football.
Video bombers.
There you go. Yeah. Pitt plays a very high level when they play against teams like Clemson, West Virginia,
Yes.
Notre Dame. You look at that Notre Dame game, Notre Dame had to pull that game out late to beat Pitt. And of course, Pitt lays an egg when they play somebody of a lower caliber. They step up in this game. Don't be surprised if Pitt pulls the upset. I'm telling you, Jake Bentley threw the ball for 550 yards against Clemson last week.
Is that your dog?
And I'd say, no, it's not my dog, but I'll tell you this. Narduzzi called down and said, send me that film. I want it immediately. He's got his players ready. 28's way too many points.
Yes.
So I think Pitt covers the game.
But you think Clemson wins?
I think Clemson's probably going to win the ball game. But man, what a shake-up for the committee that
Oh,
would be.
boy.
Georgia and Pitt both win Saturday.
Shake it up,
Oh,
baby.
hands
Shake
will
it up,
explode.
baby.
Yeah. The committee will just have to go up, padlock the door, and just go back to the house.
Yes.
This is a huge game right here, this next one on the list. Northwestern, Ohio State. Ohio State's 14.5-point favorites.
Hey, Northwestern's one of those teams that can surprise you too, and they're good.
Yep, they are good. Mary, what do you think about this?
I like Northwestern for what they've done with the football program. Years ago, they were whoever was scheduled for homecoming. They were kind of laughing stock. It's just a smart school, and they've got a football team. But they've turned it around. They compete now. They play great talented kids. All that being said, Ohio State seems to be hitting their offensive prowess at the right time. And I think they cover this 14.5 and win it outright.
Whoa.
What do you think?
I disagree. I think that Ohio State is going to win the game, but I think not by 14.5. I think that they're already upset because they're not in the top four, and they're going to try to make a statement in this game, of course. But that said, I still don't think they'll cover. So I'm going Northwestern and maybe an upset.
Oh, nice. So Oklahoma plays at 12:30. Alabama plays at 4. Ohio State plays at 8. Now the reason I say this is Ohio State is waiting to see what Oklahoma does and how bad they got to blow out
Yeah.
Northwestern, because they know if Oklahoma blows out Texas, they've got to blow out Northwestern.
Sure.
Me being on the outside of the committee and not liking anybody in there in the way they do this whole thing, and that's why I like Texas. I think Texas plays ball with Oklahoma. I like Georgia. Ohio State just hung a huge number on
And they
Michigan.
should have hung more.
And could have hung more. Could have put 80 on the board. Easy.
Yeah.
Took a knee. The thing about Ohio State is, if you look at the schedule they've played, and even look at Michigan's schedule, Michigan didn't have a very tough schedule. So that defense looked great for 8 or 9 weeks in a row, not giving up any points. But when you're playing a team like Florida that doesn't have any offense, you're not going to give up any points. Penn State's not good. They're just not. So you're playing Michigan State, who's down this year. Penn State, some of these guys. Michigan did not impress me. I think they were a fraud those whole 8 weeks.
God.
Now Ohio State, dominant. But take Northwestern, because that's my
Oh.
dog of the week this
Oh,
week.
that's the dog.
That's one.
One dog.
Dog of the week.
One dog's
Northwestern plus the 14.5. I think, I'm telling you, I think Northwestern with that defense, they've covered 14 out of 15 in the Big Ten. They've lost 3 Big Ten games in 2 seasons.
Yeah.
The only teams they've lost to are outside that Big Ten. They get up for this conference, and they'll be ready.
Yeah. The only thing I don't like about Northwestern winning is the fact that it would leave a lot of pressure in that committee room. They wouldn't have to worry about Ohio State anymore.
Right, it
And they
would.
were like,
But if Northwestern, Georgia, and Oklahoma or Georgia won and Oklahoma got beat in Ohio,
Yeah.
they would really have to sit and go, how about this UCF squad?
Yeah.
They're not bad. So
Poor UCF.
that is one of my
Doggone it.
dogs of the week is Northwestern.
Uh-oh.
I think they could pull the outright upset if things bounce their way during that game.
Keep
Oh,
your.
that's a good dog.
You have two TVs on. You have that game on and the Clemson.
That's
you can
exactly
also
right.
do those split screens, you know, you can watch all of them. It's kind of hard on your head, but you can do it.
You know where I work. I can't afford things like that.
But I'll work where you have, and I have that.
You got all my
The
money.
mayor.
So real quick, guys, don't forget about Madman Turned Santa. One more time, make sure you get those letters sent in. If you know a family with kids and want them to have a Merry Christmas, or send in those donations.
Please, yes, please send in those donations and make a Christmas for someone that would not have a Christmas otherwise.
Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, send them in to Madman in the Morning, P.O. Box 625, Cedar Bluff, Virginia 24609. We're at the Coffee House. Make sure you stop by here, have a cup of coffee, donut, muffin,
Great
whatever
food.
they got. That's right.
Great lunch.
Not, but in bad cups. Bad cups. See that?
Beautiful cups, by the way. If
I
you're
think that's the
public.
only thing with the Dallas Cowboy logo. It's kept it intact for
Isn't it
30 years.
beautiful? Big
Yeah.
star.
Don't forget about coldfieldsports.com. Make sure you get over and check those guys out. Before we go, one more dog of the week. We talked about this game before we got started today. Mayor, we was waiting on Mayor to come in, and you're right. New Orleans is playing
Oh,
big ball, big ball.
big time.
But let me tell you something. If you look back at their last 6 ball games, they've been outgained in 3 of those games. The score wasn't actually, the scores were blowouts, but not an actual definition of how that game ended because they was outgained by a couple of those teams that played.
Yeah.
I've got them right down.
Rams.
The Rams,
Oh,
they
the
was
Rams,
outgained by the
definitely,
Rams. That's one of them, and they ended up winning that ball game late. So
The stats really didn't show it.
stats don't show it. Dallas at home.
On my calendar.
New Orleans going on the road, Thursday game. I'm taking the Cowboys to win the game outright
No,
this
I love
week.
your dog. Yes.
These dogs have been hitting. 17-3 on the year on these dogs. Take the
this one
Cowboys.
hits, she's going to lose it.
Man, I will.
She might hug my neck.
Y'all may never find me again. I may be on my way to Texas.
That's right. So there you go. I love Northwestern. I love the Cowboys this week.
Oh, right. All right.
How about that for
Feeling
some
it.
dogs?
What about you, Mayor?
I love that Brett left.
Brett's gone. We don't know if
It'll
Brett will
be
be
fun.
back. We're not sure. He had to run off. He may be in
Hitman,
Tennessee.
yeah, he is the hitman. We don't even know what he does.
That's right.
Poor little guy.
Guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. We appreciate it. Madman Gang, we're out.